Thank you. Many topics weren't hit today. We didn't get to global trade, transportation, education. Hopefully you all will have the opportunity to talk more about these things before November 4th. We need to move to closing statements now. So I would give the first closing statements to L. Tinklenberg.
Well, thank you. Teresa, I'd be happy to be back next week, and we'll do this again with some other topics. We have tried to encourage as many of these as possible because there really are some vital issues that we're facing in this country, and we think it's important for you to have an opportunity to ask us questions about our positions, because this is an important election. The issues are big. The issues are big and vital to our future. And we need to be talking about them, and you have the right to ask us to address those issues in this kind of a format, in this kind of a forum, and I wish we could, we would have and could do a lot more of these. We have a saying in the campaign. It's an old Native American saying that goes, you did not inherit the earth from your ancestors, you borrow it from your children. And friends, we've been doing a lot of borrowing. We've been doing a lot of borrowing. We have borrowed from our children's infrastructure. We have borrowed from their economy. We have borrowed from their energy resources. We have borrowed from their environment. We have borrowed from their security. We have borrowed from their relationships to the rest of the world. It is important for us to demand, not just ask, but to demand some accountability for the results of the policies that have been put in place by the Bush administration. It is amazing to me when the public gives the Bush administration an 80% disapproval rating, when 80%, 87% say the country is dramatically going in the wrong direction, how tenaciously, how passionately Representative Bachmann continues to embrace this president and his policies and the failed strategies of the past. We need to be moving in a new direction. The public supports that. The public expects that. Our children and their future demand it.
Well, my opponent can be as emphatic as he wants to be, but actually he is more in line with President Bush's policies than I am. Take a look at immigration. He's in line with the president on amnesty for illegal aliens. I'm not on board with amnesty for illegal aliens. He's not on board with making sure that our borders are sealed. And if you want to seal them, you need to erect barriers. The president has not been in favor of that, and I am in favor of that. My opponent is in favor of the dramatic $8 trillion tax that we will have on climate change. Again, $8 trillion before the year 2040 on the cap and trade system. That will have a dramatic impact on our nation. I have opposed our president on that as well. I also opposed our president on the No Child Left Behind bill. I was the chief author of the bill here in the state of Minnesota to have Minnesota get out of No Child Left Behind. I graduated from Anoka High School. I saw firsthand the great education system that we have in the state of Minnesota. One thing we don't need is more federal meddling and more federal bureaucracy in the classroom. And I have opposed the president. I have opposed him to his face on this measure, and I've been willing to stand up against my president on this issue. And I did it, as a matter of fact, in 2004 when he was running for re-election. I had a lot of Republicans in this state say, don't you know you could hurt the president's chances for re-election? And I told my colleagues, don't you know students in the state of Minnesota need to have educational freedom? We can't have No Child Left Behind. I've been willing to be a strong reformer in Washington, D.C. and take on my own party, including the bailout in Washington, D.C. Nothing has been more egregious this year than the bailout that has occurred. Over $2 trillion and counting. And my opponent has been in favor of this bailout that will take generations to pay back. There's a tremendous difference between the two of us in this election. And Teresa, I want to thank you. I want to thank the Chamber. I want to thank the Friends of the Library that are here today. And I want to thank all of you. Despite the fact that we choose to disagree in an agreeable way, I thank you all for being willing to be here today and host this fine event. Thank you.
Thank you. Help me thank our candidates.